Welcome to another episode of Delite Side of Life with me, your host, Delite, where I speak to people I think I know of, about things I think I know about. And we're at the first episode of Visuals.
Yes.
So I'm dressed up and I
see the butterflies. They look very pretty.
Yeah, and how
Yeah.
are you? How are you now as my
I'm
first
good.
guest
I'm
visually?
I'm
You're
good.
good. You're looking good
It's
too.
super
Shep.
hot, bro.
But we can't compete
Heat is a
right
lot.
now, huh?
I don't know. Now I'm not
it's
competing.
Not my show.
No, I'm not designed.
At least you knew your position. I know. Neo full name?
Petra Khoele.
Petra Quill. Is that like a surname?
Petra's my second name, and then Khoele is my surname.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But
Okay.
I like going by all three.
This is the first time we meet, eh?
I know.
Yeah, so
I like
it's
you.
very interesting. So thank you. Thank you for coming through. Thank you to everyone listening and tuning in. Now it's obviously available on YouTube, visually
Subscribe,
and stuff.
by the way.
Yeah, like, subscribe, share, and you can still continue listening to it on the usual listening platforms for podcasts. That's your Spotify, your Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud and stuff. So let's get into it. Neo, that's a name I can't pronounce. I'd like to speak about mental health, man. This is my first episode, and this is a milestone, for me.
Yeah.
Everything I do is a milestone because of my mental health. I've had a journey through it, and I know that you relate a bit to my story. So just to put it out there, for those who don't know, I'm bipolar type 1. That explains a bit of who I am, my energy, and stuff like that. Yeah. So you are also someone with a mental health journey. I think everyone has a mental health journey. Then there's ones that are diagnosed and there's ones that are not.
Yeah.
And then the more severe, the more you'd get diagnosed. But we all have a mental health situation we need to.
I believe it's according to experience, though.
Yeah.
And traumas and whatever.
So what would you say you are? Because I say I'm bipolar.
I say I am normal with just with additionals. Yeah, that's all.
Additional stuff.
Yeah, additionals.
Would you say they hinder or do they advance your life?
I feel like they do because they give me
Is
knowledge.
it both, or what is the answer? Because I say,
No,
do they hinder or do they advance?
They advance me.
They advance you.
Yeah.
Not hinder.
No.
Oh,
I choose to not make them hinder me because
Yeah.
I don't see a point in making them hindering. It's like someone saying I've got a sore pinky and I can't live the rest of the day. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying with the sore pinky. I think there's a matter of, okay, I have a sore pinky, and therefore I'm just going to not use it and keep it away. Whereas when I'm saying it with advance, I literally use my condition to get further.
Yes.
I know that there are positives. It's something that I was told to do is research. My mom was very find out, so I found celebs, I found certain people. I'm like, oh shit, this is maybe what this is. This is what I could do with this. Yeah. And I leaned more into it. And that's why I also have an episode where I want to talk about stuff like that. Because I noticed the more I own it, the more I can control it and find the good parts of it. So can you give me a backstory of how you came about being diagnosed with bipolar? You have bipolar and what else?
I have bipolar, I have depression, I have anxiety and ADD, hence the fidgetiness. But
fidgetiness.
Yeah, with my fingers and my legs.
Is that an actual condition on its own? Or
yes, my ADD is on its own, my anxiety is on its
own.
own.
Oh, the fidgetiness is associated with the ADD. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
oh, okay. I thought it's its own thing.
No.
Okay, cool.
It's there. It's I fidget with my fingers. I fidget with. I move around a lot, but I got used to it, and I communicated with everyone around me because. Why?
So you were diagnosed with what? What was the first diagnosis you got in regards to mental health, mental condition? Whatever.
Okay, so I got diagnosed when I went to. I wasn't feeling okay.
Yeah.
Emotionally, mentally, whatever, and I wasn't getting the reason why. So I felt maybe I need to go get help. That's when I got diagnosed, but I got diagnosed.
Yeah.
When I got there, does that make sense?
When you got?
When I got to the doctors and
admitting
myself.
That's when it happens.
Yes, that's when it happens. But then, but in that happening, it made sense because in order for them to diagnose you, they don't take blood tests, they ask questions.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think that's the other important thing people need to understand. The complications of mental health is I need to be conscious. I need to be alert. I need to be willing to give you
To get there,
information
yeah.
and honest information.
Yeah.
And if I'm not in a good space and I might lie, or I might be like not in the right space, you might not
Yeah.
get the right diagnosis.
Yeah, because
you know,
you're lying
so
to the doctors that are trying to help you.
that's why when people are admitted, they're there for several weeks. How
Yeah.
long were you? But you took yourself there,
I
right?
took I chose to.
You
to-
saw something's wrong.
I felt like something was wrong, but
What
because
was wrong? Like if you can explain like a bit of that.
I was just spiraling. I was sleeping for 3 days, going on. I was taking sleeping pills for no reason. Like, I was not okay.
You were not yourself.
I wasn't myself, and I didn't like it. First of all,
How
and
old
second,
were you at the time?
literally this year.
Oh, this year.
Yeah, at the
Wow.
beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But when you go, I was like, I don't know. I feel like it's a journey as you are growing. For
Yeah.
example, from a young age, growing up, I'm not like other people. You read a sentence once and you get it, right?
Okay.
With me, I have to read it like multiple times, sort of, not multiple times, but I can read it, but I won't digest it. So then I have to go back and read it again for me to digest it. But
Is your
for
mind
me,
all over the place? Is that why? Like
Not-
it's hard to focus on something.
no, like you can read it and like you have read it, you've read it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
kn- Your mind is nowhere else, but you didn't digest it. Like you
Yeah.
read it, but then you're like, what did I
You
just
read it, but
again?
yeah, I get what you're saying. I also
Yeah.
have that reading thing where
Yeah.
I can read but not take it in, or I have to like consciously say I need to take this
Take
in
it
while
in,
reading.
yeah.
Because I could read and not know what I read
Yes.
at all. Yeah.
So then from a young age, what the first questions she asked was, when you read a question, do you have to read it more than once? And I didn't know from a young age that this is ADD, because that's how she
Yeah.
diagnosed me with it. That when you read a thing, do you need to read it like
Okay.
a lot of times? When you explain something, do you over-explain yourself? And I didn't know those things. I thought they were part of my personality. I didn't know it was an ADD trait. I don't know. Yes, that's how. So I'm getting to learn more about myself
Yeah.
through that.
You diagnosing me right now. Because yeah, man, I think a lot of conditions are also aligned. Another thing that I picked up is that we're not medicated by your condition, but more by the symptoms.
Yeah.
So they're gonna say we both bipolar, and people are expecting the same.
Yeah,
Same
situation.
thing.
Yeah.
Why aren't you also like that? Why?
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're basing it on the symptoms that
Yeah.
came about. That
Yeah.
okay, sleepless nights, blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah 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 blah.
yeah.
And that's all that it is. But it's not necessarily our thought process
Yeah.
or what we believe in.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
all be quite different.
Yeah.
So it's just been this year, bruh. So how were you so accepting of something? Because it took me a while to say, okay, maybe I have this thing. Because I basically stopped using my medication within the first year because of side effects. That it was the other medication we're giving to like my eyes, like it was literally like affecting me. Sorry, in a bad way. So I stopped using the pills. And so I'm off this thing, and so I'm like, yeah, you see, I don't have this thing. I'm thinking, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah,
Then I'm hit with another episode,
Yeah.
which was totally different, and I didn't see it coming. And then I really knew I needed to figure this thing out. But with being bipolar, I also went through depression, stuff like that. I was suicidal, and so those are the reasons why I was like, yo, maybe I need to be off these pills, because maybe these pills are making me depressed and stuff like that.
I went through the same thing with the pills. Okay, in me. Okay, to answer your first question.
Yeah.
I accepted it when they told me, because it explained my personality and my behavior growing up, because I've always been different. I don't know. I've just never been like the other kids.
Yeah,
And
they're
I
always
just
like,
didn't
yeah, that
know
crazy one.
why.
Ah, that girl.
So then she gave me the answer I've been looking for, and in doing that, I mean, she's a stranger. She's a doctor. She knows what she
Yeah.
does, but she helped me the way, like, professionally. But in doing
Objectively, yeah.
and what, but in doing that, she kind of helped me as well into finally knowing why I'm different.
Yeah.
That is why I accepted it, because it was the answer I've been looking for from high school, from primary even. I was like, because I was teased for being weird. Like, you don't speak, you don't.
So was this like a revelation? Like,
Yeah, it
oh,
was
finally, like,
yeah, because
oh,
even
with-
the reading of the thing, I'd be like, am I stupid? Can I not like read this? But then she answered that for me. No, it's not. You're not stupid. It's a thing you have. You know?
With me, it was like a speed bump. It was like a speed bump. Like I'm cruising this car, I'm going so fast, and then damn it, what am I doing in this hospital? Because I wasn't self-admitted. Like I'm type 1, right? So I need to also make that clear with the layman that there's 2 types of bipolar. So there's type 1, type 2. As far as I am familiar.
No,
Yeah. So type 1 is manic. For the most part, and then you could face depressive episodes, but it's not guaranteed. That's me. And then the second one is depressive, and then you could have hypermanic episodes. So your hypermanic means, is it hypermanic or hypermania? Hypermania, yeah. It's manic, but it's not too hectic.
Too much.
It's not too hectic. But most of it is depressive. You're very depressive. But basically, bipolar is the two polars, you know, you're very happy or you're very sad.
Yes,
and that's basically what it defines, whether or not you're more happy or whether you're more sad. So I'm very happy, I'm very excited, I'm that type of person. And then while I'm having an episode, I'm having a very happy episode. So I'm coming up with these crazy ideas and
And then you see that this
this
talkative person, but really,
and now I don't want you to tell me there's something wrong with me when it feels so right.
Yeah.
Because it's the equivalent of being on a drug.
Yeah.
If I just have to be blunt about it. That's why people chase the high of drugs.
Yes.
But this is a drug I can't overdose from.
Yes.
So why the hell would I not why would I not continue with this vibe? You know what I mean? I'm not going to stop being high because I slept too long and it's out of my system. Nothing's out of my system, you know? So when I went to hospital, I went there because I was like a problem for the people around me. It's like being high around people who are not high the whole time. It's going to get a bit too much. You know what I mean? And that's why I went to hospital. And that's why I was disappointed to go. I was disappointed that they said there's something I have and that there's pills that are going to stop me from being this way.
I think
that's why I didn't like
I think that's the misunderstanding people have, because just because you're on pills is not going to take it away. It's in you. It's in your brain. The pills help you just deal with it.
I wish I had someone like you when I was diagnosed telling me that, because all I had was doctors
telling you to take it,
and all I had was like media references or going online. Back then, I mean, we're talking 2009. Google wasn't even Google like how we use Google. So all I knew was that these pills, and that's the other thing, I've come to realize that using pills to maintain your mood doesn't change the way your thoughts are, right? But if you think that these pills are going to depress you, these pills will depress you.
Yes.
And that's what I noticed even with like headache pills, whatever. If you tell yourself that these headache pills don't work, then usually they won't work. But then someone else will tell you that headache pills work perfectly well, you know? And that's the thing with the mind.
Yeah, it's mind over matter.
Yeah, so I that's what made me depressed. It was me taking pills that I thought are taking away my creativity. I couldn't make music anymore. I couldn't talk as much as I talk.
And you're kind of alienating yourself because you're the only one that takes these pills for your brain, basically.
Pardon?
It feels like you alienated because you take pills for something that's in here, but then nobody else does. And
no one else is taking these pills. Like, what the hell?
But
like, I'm being punished for being myself. And myself is like a vibe. It's like, hey, why don't you look at the drugs and so I must take the drugs to be like you.
Yeah, just to satisfy, because I make you uncomfortable.
That's how I was feeling, honestly. And these pills were making me depressed, suicidal. I'm like, And then I realized I was bad at committing suicide. I sleep on now. It's again, I get easy these things. So maybe it's or I don't know. It's cool. And then I was like, I need to find a way to live. And so I just, as much as I think a lot, I thought my way through it. I was like, let me just continue being positive. Maybe I must think about these pills in this way. That's why I got to where I am, where I realized that. And I haven't changed my medication. The same medication I stopped taking because I thought they're making me depressed is the same medication I use to be on this podcast and live a productive life. So that's why I'm like, I wish I had someone like you who could have told me that from the beginning, and I didn't have to go through like so many years of not believing this thing or not accepting it, you know? Because I think that's the solution.
Yes, and in doing that, with the stopping of the pills, I believe you deal with things the way you know how, right? I have this thing about the Chinese culture and how they're so calming. So my acupuncturist, who's Chinese, educated me on that. He was like, it's not that they're making you sick.
Yeah.
Your body's getting used to them. You're gonna be sick. You're supposed to be sick because your body doesn't know
It's a new foreign
your
thing.
body doesn't know what's going on. You have to be sick. But in order for you to, in order for your body to get used to them, you need to go through that sick stage.
I want a difference. Yeah, 𝗧𝗵𝗯𝗃 yeah, acupuncture. I not on 𝗧𝗵𝗯𝗃. Maybe that's also another thing.
Yeah.
But jokes aside, on the real, I was diagnosed at I went to a public hospital. At the time, you know, I'm out of like the age of being a dependent on my mom. I don't need medical aid. I think, come on, I'm a young man.
Yeah.
And I go to a hospital, and then you know what I mean. That's a part of the problem, I think, because it's the second time when after I had my second episode, because I went off medication. When I finally got right, I was at a private hospital because now I knew I had to be on medical aid because I didn't know. And I think that's another problem, because while I was in hospital, I was amongst people with all sorts of different conditions. It was in winter, and the psych ward. It's sad. I have to be honest. Like, especially in a public, it's like jail.
Yeah.
Like, I watch jail documentaries, and there's literally no difference. The food, the way you are enclosed, you can't leave in a sense. It's you know, like the sleeping arrangements, and even like the showering, like you showering in cold water, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's not really gonna help you progress, you know.
But
with this thing.
in that of you saying like you did, because you to differentiate between a public hospital and a private. If I didn't ask a doctor, it didn't have to be him.
Yeah.
It didn't. If I didn't ask a doctor that why is this medication making me sick?
Yeah, true.
I think the thing is communication. Ask your doctors what is going on instead of just no, because they know why they gave it to you. They took the blood test. They know what your system is. They don't have to feel it to know it. But you need to ask, like, why does it make me feel like this? But then they won't tell you because they go through so many patients that they have no.
You're not there to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
I think, and that's the importance of you so different, especially like you said, you self-admitted, you took yourself there. So you would want to ask. You want to be there. I don't want to be there. I'm finding ways to escape every time. Because I'd go back for checkups, right? So the doctor would be like, "Are you okay? Are you fine? Have you eaten?" I actually realized in the long run, I wasn't okay. But according to me, right, as soon as I am hyper, that's when I'm not okay. But when I was depressed, I thought I am okay for society. I get remote, I'm quiet. I get I'm in my room.
I'm giving them what they want.
Last time I was noisy. I talk too much. Because I won't lie, as soon as I came out of hospital, there was this day I was like up a bit late. I'd even like go in and use the toilet. Like maybe at 1 o'clock, my mom would come.
What's wrong?
Why are you awake? You should be sleeping. It's like, yo, like you can't even like be awake now.
Yeah, you can't go pee.
He's on his thing.
You gotta communicate with people. I wanna go pee.
So I saw her. Hey, wait again. Let me go there and say, no, I'm fine, because they mentioned the possibility of depression, but it wasn't emphasized that it would definitely happen with type 1. So I didn't even know I was depressed when I was depressed. I thought, oh, now I was crazy all this time. Now I'm the one who thought life is nice. And I must be sad. And when you speak to some people, they like that. Like when they speak about relationships, when they speak about certain things, they're like, no, you're supposed to be sad sometimes. And it's like, that concept never made sense to me. I think also I've lived out my name. My name is 𝗏𝗲𝗃𝗏, which is happiness. And I think I've always just, I don't know, there's just something about me where I'm like, dog, you don't have to be sad. As soon as there's a problem, I leave the problem. You know, I break up with you as soon as I see an issue. But I thought, maybe I'm unrealistic, I'm bipolar, I must be sad. So the doctor never knew I was depressed when I was. So I came out of it alone. And that's why I guess I almost committed suicide and stuff like that.
Yes, and in dealing with things like that by your own and having to, with my mom, she would do that as well. Like, are you okay? She still does that till this day. But I learned.
But when I tell recent, it's now. It's this year.
Even before, because even before I have a medical history. So then I'm an only child. You know, my mom was always just stressed about that. So then I learned after this that I actually need to calm her down first. So that she knows whatever I'm doing today or tonight or whatever, I'm fine. She just needs to know that before she even goes to bed, because then she won't sleep. So then if she comes in my room and she's like, saying good night, she asks me in like ways that, she thinks I won't know she's asking.
Or to catch you out. She thinks she's a psychologist now.
She's like to catch me out, like if I'm not okay, am I okay? And when she the first thing I say is I'm fine. And then she'll like look at me, I'm fine, go sleep, you know? And then it makes it easier for people around me.
So how does this affect your relationships? Like, let's go to the obvious one, the one that people care about. Boyfriend, dinsang. Do you tell him from the cuff, yo, my guy, dinsang,
Yes.
Sometimes it's like this.
Yes, I do, yes.
You know, okay.
I don't hide it, I don't sugarcoat it.
Oh,
This is what
you're
I
a
come with.
woman, they want you. No?
Either way, if
Now you came to your house. So
but then
you
even if they
around
want
just
me,
like
my
that,
mental health could be a turn off. You know what I'm saying?
Hey guys, but guys, hey, they go, hey, guys are strong. That's what I'm saying.
But then
if I wanted you, I'll find a, bipolar fell. I thought, no, let's get so
no, I've learned to be vocal about it. Not even learn to be vocal about it, because now I know why, like my past boyfriends before now.
Oh, had a tough time.
Now I can be vocal about it. And when you come into a situation with me, you need to know that you're coming into this. Otherwise, why are you here? Because I don't have time to waste. Yeah.
Do people pick up that you might have something?
No.
Or it's not evident?
No, no.
You don't have. Are you someone who's? Are you coping? Are you like what stage of it are you at? Are you still struggling here and there? Like, how's the day in the life for you when it comes to your mental health?
I'm lifing. Like, there are hard days, there are good days.
That are based on because of your
not
mental
because of
challenges and stuff.
I mean, it could be, but I choose to not make it a reason because
you don't first think
that
about that.
makes
Oh
you
yeah,
weak.
it's because I have whatever.
Yeah, because in me that makes me weak. If I'm telling you like I'm in bed right now because I can't and depression, I'm making myself weak in your eyes.
Because you're focusing on I think I'm
focusing
depressed,
on
therefore I'm gonna keep on feeling
bed
this
and
thing.
I'm in bed and it makes you a burden. So it could be of that, but I choose not to. Like if I wake up and I'm not okay, maybe for myself I might know maybe it's like my mental health, but I choose to not let it control me or my life or my day or whatever. But instead, if I'm feeling like that, I would rather put down, because I'm a photographer, I would rather put down an idea or whatever, or I would, but I use it on my creative side. If not, I write like a word down or something, or type something down, and then to make myself feel better, because I learned that I can deal with, if something is bothering me inside, I need to either write it down or whatever in a way that I release it to the world and into the air, whatever, and it's gone now.
Okay.
Yeah, like I write.
So, okay.
Yeah,
that's
like,
how you deal with it.
Yeah, like I write a letter
Coping
and then I'll
mechanism.
burn it. Like I write a letter to you, you wouldn't even know I wrote a letter to you because I burnt it.
Oh, I don't get witchcraft, that one. I don't know it. I don't know.
Or like because I believe if you tear it.
For instance, I just said witchcraft.
Not
For
letting it
instance,
go.
Has anyone associated this to, it's the calling, body Insta stars? Haven't you come across a bit of that? Have you thought about it possibly being something like that? Especially because I would say we lean towards Western medicine and stuff because of my mom and how she was brought up. She's not very traditional, not like that, not culturally like that. So has it ever been a topic that, am I gifted or something?
I mean, people have come to me with it, with their thoughts about it. But like you said, I never grew up in a traditional family.
Too.
Yes, I didn't grow up in a traditional family, so I didn't think of it that way. I just thought that I just have this. They just happen to not. They have something that I don't. But I don't put it on.
Oh, okay,
whatever.
Cool.
They just happen to have it. Yeah, that's why I say I'm normal with additionals, and so is everybody else.
Lovely.
And my additional just happens to be in my brain and medication every morning.
So friendships, have you lost any friends? Nothing.
I've chosen to stay away from people. I
have people switched up on you? That girl is a bit.
Even besides that, I ghost. If I feel like you are too much for me or you're not understanding me or whatever.
Because I'm not too harsh. I'll only be harsh if after I've educated you, you still, on some ignorant tip.
Exactly.
Because I have been judgmental. I spoke about suicide. I had a cousin who committed suicide. And my mom went to the funeral. I was still like in high school. I was like telling my friend, my guy, man.
You're judging
kill
from the
yourself.
grave, oh my God.
Yeah, like my mom went to the funeral. Bruh, I didn't care so much. We had a party that weekend. Like, mom is out. Like, and you didn't care even more because he killed himself. So you're like,
because he wanted it.
Yeah, you think like that, you know? And then you go through it and you're like, shucks. You know, you find yourself in this thing and it's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I look at people like distancing themselves, I remember like that's another thing with suicide. It's that when someone looks like they killed themselves because so and so broke up with them, it's not that. It's the fact that the last thing, like sometimes that's the last thing I had. Everything else is messed up. And you were one of the last things that, hey, at least this person still loves me. At least this person still, you know, accepts me, whatever. And then maybe when you break up with me, maybe that's the point at which I do it. But you're not the only factor. It's just I always explain, the best way to explain it is to say, most people haven't lost the things that really matter to them.
Yeah.
So that's why they'll say, why would you kill yourself because your girlfriend dumped you? Why did you kill yourself because your mom died or whatever? But it's like, maybe you're not thinking about the things that matter most to you. You're thinking about your mom, who doesn't matter as much, you know? And so it's, yeah, that's my approach with the friendship thing.
With the friendship thing, yeah, you know, okay, I have this of cutting people off. You know what I'm saying? Like that question.
So you're the one cutting them. You the one cutting off the sane ones.
Yeah.
Well, you are the
Sometimes
problem
they're not
in their
sane,
eyes.
but I have a friend, and I won't mention her name, but with her, she knew everything. She was there for my whole experience. She's been in my life for 11 years. And then but she's been going through depressive stages.
Yeah.
And she went silent for like 2-3 weeks, right? Before I decided, you know what, I'm gonna like stay away from you for a little bit because you're not good for my brain, my mental health. I'm just not good. Not even my mental health, just my health in general. You're not good for me. So yeah, she went quiet for like 2-3 weeks, and I finally got a hold of her, and she said that she took pills, like sleeping pills, knowing that they can't kill her.
Oh, just
but with the attempt to kill herself. But she knew that they wouldn't kill her.
Or to maybe create a scaring tactic or whatever.
No, everyone was sleeping, but her thing was she wanted to die, but she knew that they weren't going to kill her. But then she knew she also didn't want to die, but then she did it at a time where people were sleeping, but she was expecting people to look for her. Like she was expecting people to be like, hey, where are you at, where are you at? But then everyone's sleeping. Everyone is, according to them, you're in bed. You know, no one's looking for you, but it hurt her that no one was looking for her. It hurt her that...
It made sense for no one to look for her.
Yes, and she put herself in a dramatic scenario. She took the pills and then she went into like water in like a bathtub and gonna die there. Yeah, and she didn't. She woke up the next morning and she was still in the water, and she was hurt at the fact that no one really, not that no one found her, but no one was looking for her.
No, I get you.
You know? So sometimes it's a thing. And I asked her, like, why is that? Because she came to me because she knows my situation and how I'm open about it and how I actually would like to educate people about it. So whoever has questions, I would like to answer.
Okay.
So she knows this, and she came to me, and I asked her, like, why deliberately take pills that you know won't kill you? And she said because she felt like she wanted to die that night, but she wasn't sure if the next day or the other day she would still want to die.
No, I get you.
And she never really was for the whole getting help situation because she's like...
So basically she was just going to complicate your situation, your life, with her complication.
No, she was coming to ask me. She was coming to open up to someone who would actually understand.
Yeah, but you can't understand. I mean, it's clear that she's not clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then she was asking, this is when she was finally for the getting help situation, and that's how now she's getting help.
Well, so she is getting help.
Yes, but because of the way she does things, like, you know, trying to kill yourself even though you're not going to die, or like giving me these little rampages.
No part of you related to that in any way?
I related because I also was suicidal at some point. But the reason I asked her why is because it seemed like she was saying, I'm looking for attention.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, you know?
I get you,
And I was like, dude, just go get help. And she finally did. And now that she's getting it, I hope it's helping her. Yeah. But I've distanced myself. I haven't ghosted her. I kind of have. But I'm not as... I'm at an arm's length. So she can get a hold of me if she calls me, sort of like that. But I won't do the same.
So are you currently working? Are you at school?
I'm at school.
You're at school.
I'm at school and I'm businessing. I don't know. Does it make sense?
Businessing. Has it affected that in any way?
It's actually made it better.
What, you're more productive?
Not productive, more creative.
More creative. Okay, cool. That's dope. And then medication. Are you on medication now?
Mm-hmm. I'm on bipolar medication. I'm on ADD medication. I'm on thyroid medication.
How does it handle you though? Isn't it a bit too much?
It was. And then I had to, like, mind over matter. You have to want for it. You have to want it to work for it to work.
Yeah.
If you don't want it to work, it's not going to, because your brain is rejecting it.
And then, the stigma, man. Like, how do you think we should combat the stigma that comes with mental health? I think a lot of people go undiagnosed. There's this thing of, it's like the same reason why you're not going to get a HIV test is because you're scared of the stigma and not realizing that me getting the test solves a possible problem. Because now I can get help. So, like, the stigma of this thing, it's so hectic that some people are so scared of it, they're not even going to face the reality of being depressed. Last year was a very depressive year. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I don't know how we should combat it. Do you think it should be spoken more about?
I feel like it should be spoken more about, but also in order for us to combat it, people with it shouldn't be living according to the stigma of it, because the stigma of it is not making your life any better.
And what is the stigma of it that people live
that
to?
You're crazy. Like, cool, I'm crazy. Deal with it. It comes with now, But I won't make it like crazy on you. But we should speak about it, and people with mental health should be the ones to start speaking about it. Because if they don't start to speak about it,
true.
the stigma won't go away.
I agree with you, and that's why I wanted to do this, and that's why I always speak about it so much. But now my problem is certain people with it, very influential people, can also speak so incorrectly. There's someone who likes to speak about his bipolar, and is very against medication, but he's in a very different position than most people with it. And he has a lot of yes men around him and stuff, and that's like Kanye West, for instance. And it was clear for me for a while, not clear, it can never be that clear, you need to be diagnosed, but he was always a different type of, the way he was thinking or whatever.
He's
like
actually one of my favorite people,
You could see that there's something up. And that's what I did as someone with it. I was like, let me look at people who are going to inspire me to get over it. Or, I always looked at that. I looked at Piet Owen, one of the greatest musicians, Isaac Newton's, all of these people that made me say, okay, maybe there's a good thing. But then you look at this and then you realize that he's on some, let's not get medicated. You know what I mean? That's more of the narrative that's getting pushed. But you're not realizing that this guy has money. He can be crazy. He can do ridiculous stuff. He doesn't go to an office with a boss who's going to say, hey, my guy, you fired because of what you did. He can say whatever. And there's a lot of manipulation also that comes with being bipolar that I see with him, that people won't correct. Right? So, claims and stuff like, I think, there's a lot of stuff that I can identify with. So I think it's also that certain people need to still be educated before they speak on it.
And also,
and not just because I'm a celeb, I must speak on this thing, and putting the pressure on me because I'm a celeb.
With Kanye West, I actually think of it different with him, because he is loud about, I'm not bipolar, I'm schizophrenic.
He hasn't said that.
He has.
Where has he said?
The learner of a schizophrenic man. It's in a song, okay?
I give you that man.
But he is. But then even in the Ellen DeGeneres interview, he is vocal about I have these situations. That's why Kim left him or is I don't know.
Do you acknowledge that he does not live a normal life?
I acknowledge that he does not live a normal life, but at the same time, I don't live with him.
I get you. I'm just saying that, for instance, I mentioned that I was like, I had an episode, and I was too much, right? For my moms and stuff. Right?
How did you deal with that?
Pardon?
How did you deal with that?
Being too much?
Before, anyway, Karen.
How did my mom deal with that?
How did you deal with being that person around your mom? If medication wasn't your thing, where were you running to?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's why I'm bringing in the Kanye West thing. If I had the access that he had, I would have been able to get away with way more. I wouldn't have been put in the hospital because now I'm the one who, when I get to the hospital goes crazy.
Yeah.
When I can tell them, no, my guy, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, the difference between me is the fact that I didn't have money.
Yeah.
But when you act manic, you act untouchable. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Like when someone's high, they look very superstar.
Yeah.
Like they say, I'm the smartest guy. They might walk without a top on. But that's an average celebrity who could do that. So it's the equivalent of that.
Yes.
So I would have gotten away with it, and I would have continued not being on medication.
Yeah.
And then everyone would just deal with the fact that sometimes Thabo just gets a bit wild sometimes. But Mari is the guy with the cash. That's kind of what I see happening there. So I think he's the worst person to really guide people on that when people are not him.
Yes.
People don't live the life he lives.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just like that, as people aren't him and aren't living his life, we only know what he shows us.
True.
I actually explored the medication thing with like a homeopath. It's like you take natural medication and not drugs. Like you know. So we only know what he tells us. We know he's got a problem, and he's very vocal about it. But we don't live with. We only know what he shows us. But behind the scenes, behind closed doors, we don't know how he still is able to cope with himself. We don't know how he's able to cope with everything else and everyone else around him. We don't know what his medication is. Because your medication doesn't have to be medicinal drugs. It could be herbal medication, or it could be weed, you know. But we don't know where, because we're not you. We don't know how he's dealing with it.
I think I get you.
But he's wrong for saying don't take medicine. Or don't take medication.
It's okay if he doesn't take it. It's okay if he says, I don't have bipolar. The problem is sometimes he does say it. He had an album cover with bipolar. I have bipolar. What? It's awesome. The one with the mountains. The Yay album. That's him now leaning in towards I have bipolar. And that what he wrote there is literally what bipolar is. And then sometimes like, no, I have sleep deprivation, which is a symptom of bipolar. So it's like, I get that we are all in positions where you can do what you want to do, but we need to be responsible in some way. Maybe not be an advocate, but don't push a narrative that's not, especially with something that people are struggling to deal with. It's like, let's say Magic Johnson just said, yo man, this thing is not real. Me, I'm fine. I don't take any pills. That's why I'm like this.
Especially people are
like
looking
he was
up
going to
to
be
you.
the worst guy to help people get over the stigma. That, I mean, look at the progress of HIV, you know. That's all I'm getting at. Or rather just shut up and not speak on the topic.
He's being very irresponsible about the way he's going about it, because people are looking up to him. He's saying don't take medication, but he's not saying additionally do this and do this. And like he's not
giving solutions.
He's not giving solutions. He's just saying don't do it. But in doing
and
that,
solutions that help the average person, not him.
Not
just him.
Just any kind of solution, you know. But he's being irresponsible about that, even though he's open about it. And that is not helping people who are looking at him as a role model. Like I like the guy, you know. I like his music, whatever. But I'm not going to listen to what his opinion is.
Oh, when it comes to stuff like that. I get you.
He's wrong.
He's there for his music.
Also, I like the fact that he's crazy. I really like that. But in him doing that, he's forgetting that he found something to cope with. But he's forgetting that. He's telling people not to take medication, but he stopped taking medication. But he's found something.
Exactly that.
Yeah, he's not telling them that find something else.
For instance, it's easy not to have an episode or be depressed if you have access to things. If you have the food you want to eat when you want to eat it. If you're not worried about school fees. If you're not, he does not have certain problems that maybe 𝗏𝗏𝗏 or 𝗏𝗏𝗃 those things. He needs to, you know what I mean? He's studying or whatever it is. It's a very big difference. Do you think that the word crazy is do you see it as a bad word? Is it something that someone could use on you? Hey, you are crazy.
Well, for me personally, I actually characterize myself as crazy. Because
and when people compare you to Moose, but hey, this man is confused. Would you get touched with that stuff?
No, you know, because I believe offense is taken, not given. Because that person was saying it to joke about the weather, not to offend you. But then you decided to take offense about that. Instead, pull that person aside and say, listen, in front of me, maybe don't do that. But offense is taken, never given. Well, from me at least.
No, I realized that the we still have a long way to go. When I was sitting amongst people who were speaking about some other girl and saying, hey, this girl, bipolar. And I was there with them and they were trying to make the joke with me. And then I had to ask them, like, do you know who amongst you has bipolar? And they couldn't tell. So, yeah, man, it's very, very tricky. But, yeah, thank you so much. I think we spoke a bit on it. Thank you so much for joining me on my first episode, visually. And yeah, all the best with your life and
thank you.
And yeah, making progress with that and your photos. So where can we get your photos and what you do, your work?
At on social media, Facebook, Instagram. There's so many I can't list them, but just look Captured Truth. Captured Truth.
Yeah.
The C's capital and the T's capital, but there's no space.
Oh.
Like it's captured
truth.
And then
do the capitals matter, man?
Yes, they really do to me.
Oh, okay. Well, when they search, it matters.
Yeah, it matters. It matters.
You're gonna notice. Gotta you search me with the capital?
Because Google is gonna be like, did you mean? No.
No, I get you.
Thank
you so much.
Sorry.
What's your surname again?
𝗟𝗲𝗽. With a K, not a G.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Delite Side of Life. Remember now, we're visual, so go and like, subscribe, and share with everyone you know on YouTube. We're still available on your audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and such. And then remember now, we are being sponsored by Conflicted Art, who are making this possible visually. They take videos, pictures, everything. But there's a joke. Even if you have a pumpo, they'll take it out, the joke. Photoshop, So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This was another episode of Delite Side of Life. 𝗟𝗂𝗽𝗵𝗪cie 𝗠𝗃𝗧.
Just from the memory